Hello you what's his faces, welcome back to another video, and today the young Tigon is talking about crosshair placement, centering, and snapping. Goodness, that was cringy, but you guys may notice I am playing on a tablet, so if you want to know more about that, go ahead and wait to the end of the video and I'll explain all of that. But let's get into it. So why are we doing this? Well, one, someone just simply asked me, but yeah, let's get into it. So first, let's go to settings, right? And I do want to show you guys this because people ask me about it all the time, and all I'm using is the run button, and I make it tiny. And the way I get it centered so well is I just use the arrow keys. I get it close and I just use the arrow keys. And there's a literal line in between, so you can line it up pretty easily. But that's pretty much all I use. And the reason why I use it like that, and the reason why I have that, two reasons. First, makes it easier to, you know, do crosshair placement because it's bigger. The one they give you that's on the crosshair that the game gives you, it's okay, but this one's bigger. The other reason is simply because it actually reminds me to, you know, do crosshair placement because I might forget, and it's a thing that a lot of people forget, and you should never forget it, even though you do forget it. And it's one of those things that you got to remind yourself to always do because you might forget to do it because, oh, you know what, I'm lasering anyway, why do I need to do this? Well, it makes it better. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean it can't be done better, and you know, with more pizzazz. But anyway, centering, crosshair placement, and snapping, they all correlate because they're all based essentially on centering. Okay guys, so we're in a bot match just so I can easily show you what I'm talking about, and this is something you guys may want to do just to get a feel for it. It's also pretty fun, but just literally walk around the map with, you know, crosshair placement, like literally center. So remember, centering. So if I'm going up these stairs, I cannot keep this at the same level. I have to lift it up, and as I go up like this, it's just literally having good control over your aim and just practicing it overall. And then when you get to a target, you can completely destroy them because they're not going to be able to do much. So this, I would say, is actually really good when playing BRs too, because in BRs, if you got that AK, it's going to destroy people. But anyway, let's continue. So if I'm walking around something like this, I don't want to have my crosshair right here because by the time I get here, I'm already going to be dead. What I want to do is I want to slowly move my crosshair to where they're going to end up being. Now, one thing about crosshair placement, I would define it as essentially putting your crosshair in the most likely place they're going to be, right? Although you don't want to always do that. I would say there's a slight difference between crosshair placement, having good crosshair placement, and good centering. So I would say good centering is just the overall idea of going ahead and putting your crosshair in a good place. Good crosshair placement comes with just experience and positioning experience. So if I see him here, essentially, yes, if I had good centering, I would of course go here, but good crosshair placement would essentially allow me to take them all out really easily. Now, of course, my aim is a little bit rocky because I still have yet to, you know, master this new device, but I will. But anyway, like right here, what I want to do is I want to put my crosshair right here because there's a good chance they're going to pull out right here. So it's pretty much almost like a game. If you think about it, the best way I can explain it is think about math, right? If there's a simple problem like addition or multiplication, let's say you're multiplying two numbers, that thing right there, that process is a very easy process in itself. However, depending on the numbers that you end up multiplying can make it harder. So what do the teachers have you do? They have you do worksheet after worksheet, so you essentially get used to and accustomed to doing all of these things, because whenever you see a particular situation, your teacher wants you just to be able to dominate in that situation on a test or something like that. So in Call of Duty Mobile, you want to practice your crosshair placement so much to the point where you essentially, how should I say, it's just it's second nature. Like if I were to ask you what's 5 plus 2 or something like that, you already know it. You know it essentially. You can know it instantly. You want your crosshair placement to be an instant thing, and that is what pros have in most, if not all, shooter games. They pretty much have their crosshair placement at a very high level to where they barely have to move their actually move their crosshair, which means they're gonna be able to take people out faster. And it's just going to be easier to play the game overall. Because if I already have my crosshair next to you, instead of having to swipe all the way across to get to where I need to go, it's going to be a very easy transition to just hit the enemy. Now, one thing you're definitely going to have to get master is crosshair placement with movement, because this game is a game with movement. So if I slide, I want to be able to instantly lock onto my target. And it makes it easier, I would definitely say, if you do have a lower sensitivity to do movement and good crosshair placement, but you can do it with the high one. You just have to be, it just takes more practice, I would say. So one, you just literally practice it, and an easy way to do that is just to play the game, but play the game with the idea of crosshair placement in mind. It should always be in your head. Now yes, as you guys see, I'm lagging, and that's simply due to the fact that I actually don't play on Wi-Fi, I play on data, and right now I'm playing on Wi-Fi, so that's why it's lagging. But anyway, let's continue to the other points of this video. One thing that can definitely help you with crosshair placement is gyroscope. Now if you play on phone and you hold it, I would definitely recommend just putting a little bit of gyroscope on to make it easier to have crosshair placement. And there's two reasons why gyroscope helps. So one, gyroscope is essentially you tilting your device. Let me actually get a device right here. So gyroscope is you essentially tilting your device to aim it, right? Well, if I can tilt my device to the left, it's gonna make it way easier, especially if I'm playing with a low amount of fingers, like 2 or something. It's gonna make it way easier for me to pre-aim. And speaking of playing with a low amount of fingers, I highly recommend playing with 4 fingers, 4 or more fingers, or at the very least 3, because 2 is nice, and yes, you can do a lot with 2, but one thing that's very detrimental with 2 is it makes crosshair placement harder, and that's something that you don't want it to be hard. You want it to be super easy, and upgrading from 2 to 4 fingers makes it that much easier. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure most people could do it if they really tried, and that's because most people played on console. So switching from 2 to 4 isn't that hard. It just takes, you know, a decent amount of practice, unless it hurts your hands. If it hurts your hands, then yes, stick with 2. But you can also stretch your hands, because like right now, when I learned to, I'm going on a tangent. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue what I was talking about. Another way gyroscope can help with crosshair placement is if I'm going to go ahead and do a drop shot, I can literally tilt my device up. That's what I would do a lot of times. But if you don't have gyroscope, one thing you can do is use my aiming method. So if I drop shot like this, I want to go up, I could just flick my finger. So I'm literally aiming with 2 fingers, as you guys can see. But that's one way you can do it, and it's actually one of my favorite. I really love this way of aiming, because I might make a whole video dedicated to it, but there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this free flow aiming. It's pretty much like I have the ability to aim with my middle finger as well as my thumb. But the next thing you want to make sure you do is you're going to want to make sure you're always aiming at the chest level. And why? Because it's pretty much the best place to aim. You don't want to aim at the head, because the movement in this game is so crazy that you're not going to be able to hit someone's head all the time. So that shouldn't be your priority. Your priority should be literally aiming at the chest, because that's going to get you the most hit points. Even if they end up sliding, you're going to end up hitting the head. If they end up drop shotting, you're going to lose, you know, some track of them. You're not going to be able to finish them off, but it's going to make it way easier than if you were, you know, necessarily aiming at the head, because it'll be way harder. Although if you're aiming lower than the chest, it's gonna of course make it easier, but I will definitely say 9 times out of 10 aiming at the chest region is going to be way easier and yield the best results when you're playing. But other than that, that's pretty much that's the basics of it. But the last thing I'm going to tell you guys before I end up leaving is practice consistently. Like literally just practice consistently. And one way you can do this, I feel like the best way to learn anything is to practice in a high pressure situation. It just makes you better overall. And I've always said this in all my videos. If you want to master something, the way I mastered 8 finger, the way I mastered 6 finger really fast, is go into high pressure situations. So one thing you can go ahead and do is go into Kill House free for all, or you can go to Shipment free for all and just play until it's second nature. Just make sure you look around every corner, because in this situation you want to make sure your crosshair placement is on another level, because if you don't, you're gonna pretty much get taken out from any direction or whatever. But this pretty much is the video. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and I guess show you guys how I would do it in a map setting such as free for all Kill House, as well as tell you guys why I am playing on tablet right now. But let's go ahead and get Kill House real quick. So I guess yeah, right now it's for anyone who stayed to know why I'm actually playing on tablet. And here's the reason. Well, I've thought about it for a long while. I actually wanted to do pretty much all of my Call of Duty Mobile videos on phone. The only problem is I actually am preparing for new games to come out, such as Apex Mobile and Warzone Mobile, and I want to be really good when these games come out. And as good as I am on phone, I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to tango with the top tier, you know, not tablet, but the top tier PC and, you know, console players, because they're going to be playing that too. So I want to go ahead and actually learn how to play on a tablet, and so this is why I'm doing it. And I won't have that much time. The game is going to be here faster than most people think, and actually mastering 8-finger, because that's what I play on a tablet, is really hard. I think it's going to take like about almost 5 months, so that is actually why I'm playing on this. Now, the reason why I'm lagging, if you guys might see, is because I kind of said it a little bit, but I literally just play, oh my goodness, I literally just play on phone, and when I play on phone, I use my data, because my Wi-Fi, although it's actually really good, it doesn't hit my room. Like, my Wi-Fi will go out like 100 yards to the neighbor's house, but it just doesn't hit my room at all. So there's a few things I could do. I used to just plug an Ethernet cable into my device, but what pisses me off is COD Mobile stopped that. It'll literally kick you out if you use an Ethernet cable, so that kind of sucks. But I get it can also put like a Wi-Fi router thing in my room, so I'm just literally trying to figure out what's the best situation for this, because god dang it, is it annoying. This probably was annoying for you guys if you were watching the video, just seeing it disconnect, but you can listen to the sound of my lovely voice. But yeah, that's pretty much why I went ahead and started playing on tablet, because I just need time to practice. Like, that's pretty much it. And playing on phone and tablet and mastering both, that's a hard thing to do, especially when I haven't even played on tablet before. So I want to at least master tablet, and you know, in these upcoming months, what the heck in these upcoming months I do want to get good at tablet, so that is why I'm actually going ahead and playing it. But goodness, I'm literally floating around the map. But if you guys did enjoy it, please go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to see more of my content, subscribe. But I will catch you in the next one, and I'm just gonna lag out. This is Tigon lagging out. Peace.